Good afternoon. I wanted to look at your most missed questions on the quiz for chemical reactions and give you a little feedback directly on those. On the first one here, you have a stoichiometry problem and you have two pieces of given information. When that happens, you need to first write the balanced equation and then you need to find the limiting reactant. Once you've identified that, use it, not pick one or the other, but actually calculate it out and see which one you will run out of first. Use the limiting to find what you're looking for. And so that would be what happened here, is that you just assumed, I don't know if you used 88 grams of the propane or 160 grams of the oxygen, but or if you didn't balance the equation correctly. So one of those would have given you probably each of those answers. But when you have two givens, you have to find the limiting reactants. Another thing that happens is you missed a lot of questions about identifying what chemical reactions you're looking at. All right, which statement is false? Which is one of those types of questions that require you to check all of them before you can make a decision. Simple decomposition reactions have some predictable products, and all of these are decomps. This is a decomp because this is H2O2 goes to H2O and O2. This is MgCO3 and it goes to MgO plus CO2. And the thing is, you have to basically just memorize what hydrogen peroxide does. For any metal carbonate, they will decompose into a metal oxide and liberate carbon dioxide gas. And when ammonium carbonate is heated, ammonium carbonate, NH4 taken twice, CO3, goes to form ammonia gas, and this is not considered a metal. Yep, it does. CO2 gas, and so I lost a hydrogen and I lost an oxygen here, so it goes to form water. So you have three gaseous products. That was the answer right there. And that just again is memorizing that carbonates decompose into carbon dioxide. Ammonia decomposes into ammonia and forms water, and when the or forms hydrogen ions, and because the hydrogen ions had the oxygen available from the decomposition of the carbonate, that's why that's the correct answer. Chlorates, any metal chlorate becomes the metal chloride, and liberates oxygen gas. So all the oxygens come off, and none of those are balanced, by the way. I just wrote them real fast for you. Now, let me scroll down to the bottom of the page here, and I'm going to share something, and you might want to take a screenshot. There are some common gases that are formed, and these are what happens. Where does ammonia come from? It comes from any ammonium salt, like NH4Cl or anything else, when you put it with a strong acid. Any carbonate salt plus an acid. Oh, I'm not giving you the decomps. I needed the decomp reactions. I'll pull those up in just 1 second. This is what I wanted to show you. Decomposition reactions follow some regular patterns, and one of them is about metal carbonates. Another one is what happens with the chlorates, with an example. What happens with ammoniums? What happens with the weak acid, sulfurous acid, not sulfuric, just sulfuric, and what happens with carbonic acid. When you have a decomposition that doesn't have any of those polyatomic ions just mentioned in it, and it's simply a binary compound. That means, one cation, one anion. It can be in any proportions, but they're not polyatomic. They break down into simple elements, and then hydrogen peroxide decomposes into oxygen and water. So, that breaks down into water and oxygen. Ammonium hydroxide decomposes into ammonium water because the hydroxide provided the hydrogen it needed. For combustion reactions, we consider two types, and that is a synthesis reaction and a hydrocarbon combustion. In general, it's a reaction with oxygen. If there is a single element, it is usually called a synthesis combustion, where you just fuse whatever was given to you with oxygen and make a neutral compound. If it's a hydrocarbon combustion, the products are carbon dioxide and water. Let me get that on there. And those are your traditional expectations for combustion reactions. It'll be one of those two types. For single displacement, you need a hierarchy of what displaces what below it. So you need to realize the more reactive materials will replace the one that functions the same way. Anions only replace anions, and cations only displace cations. In double displacement reactions, I think that was really well covered. But in general, you have now being referred to as a metathesis reaction, where there is no exchange of oxidation state. That's driven by solubility rules and the formation of a gas. So, or one of the products is simpler molecular substance like water, or something simpler like carbon dioxide or oxygen gas or chlorine gas, something smaller than the original reactants.